Hey everyone, I hope you guys all had a happy new year. And today I thought I'd do a quick video and tell you guys what our plans are for 2022 here at Country View Acres. I thought before we start on that though, I'd go over what our goals were for last year and see how we actually did on them. So last year we ended up setting a total of 5 goals, and our first one was to raise our first beef cattle. So we started off the beginning of the year. We actually finished our pasture fencing, and then we bought 2 feeder steers. And these boys, these were not calves. These were steers. They were over 800 pounds, and we raised them for 9 months. And at the end of that, by the time they went to freezer camp, they weighed 1,050 pounds. And that ended up working out really good. I think we had a really good first experience raising our first steers. So we took 1/2, what is a side of beef. We took that for ourselves, put it in the freezer, and then we sold the other 3 halves to friends and family. So our second goal was to create our own website, and we did that using Wix.com, and we got our website all built, and then we started selling our own merchandise. We started printing our own t-shirts in the basement, and we were selling merchandise off of our website. So we took the big room in our basement, we've basically turned that into our t-shirt shop. This is where we make our t-shirts. So we've got a bunch of shelves in here with totes that is storing all of the t-shirts that we've made. We've got envelopes and boxes to ship everything. And then to make our t-shirts, what we're using is a screen print transfer from Transfer Express. And basically we design these on our computer, and then we upload them to their website, and then they print these and mail them to us, and then all we need is a heat press to be able to apply them. So all you need is a way to be able to cut these apart from each other so that you can put them onto the shirts. So we're just using one of these paper cutters, and that seems to work pretty good. So we just use a heat press to press that onto the t-shirt, and it'll come off the paper and go onto the shirt. And it just takes a few seconds, and when this is done, that should peel off there pretty easy. There you go. So this has worked out for us pretty good. This is a really easy way to be able to print t-shirts. So goal number 3 was to install an aeration system in the pond. We had already purchased the system, we just needed to get it installed, and that never happened. We did get it out a couple weeks ago, and we set it up temporarily to test it out. Did find out we were missing a few pieces, and but it really required to have permanent power out to the pond to put in that aeration system, and that never did happen. So goal number 3 ended up being a fail. Hopefully this next year we'll be able to maybe finish that up. So goal number 4 was to plant a new hayfield at the back of our property, and we did get that done. I was able to get that plowed up, I got it planted, amended, and did that all during my busy work schedule, where I ended up working 52 12-hour shifts in a row. And somehow I was able to get that field worked up and planted, and it looks like it's going to be a very good hayfield next year. So goal number 5 was our big goal for the year, and that was to build this pole barn you see behind me. It's supposed to be a multi-purpose building where we could have a mechanic shop or work on tractors and cars, plus have a woodworking shop in the back. A dog kennel, and then we also, this room off to this side over here was going to be, like a kitchen or a food processing room or a little butcher shop, like a home butcher shop just for us to use. And we knew that was a big goal, and we knew we wouldn't completely finish the pole barn, but I thought I would got a lot farther than what I did. So I know building this pole barn was a big goal. This is probably the biggest improvement that we've done to our property besides building our house. So this is just a huge improvement, having a nice big area that's dry with a concrete floor to be able to work on things. So overall, building a pole barn was a success. I just didn't get as far as what I wanted to. I really was hoping by now I would have at least the walls covered up, so you didn't have to look at all the spray foam all the time, and then have the woodworking shop actually separated off back there with a ceiling where I could heat the woodworking shop and be able to, have a nice warm place in the wintertime. But didn't get quite as far as what I wanted, but what we have is just it is a huge blessing for us to have this space to be able to work in. So a few weeks ago, I posted a list of all the projects that I'd like to try to get done over the next year. And it was a big list. It was probably 30 to 40 different things. It was huge. Way more than I'll be able to get done. But for our goals, we want to kind of pick out the 6 important ones, the ones we really want to focus on and get done this year. And the first one is going to have to do with this pole barn. So if you look at the floor plan, you can see that the woodworking shop is a separate room, and I want to get that walled in and heated, and that's what this pile of wood is here. This is the wood to build the walls to separate out the wood shop, and then I've got a stack right here of metal that's for the ceiling. So I've already got some of the material. So our number one goal is to get that workshop walled off so that I can heat it in the wintertime and work in there. And it's also going to have a garage door that's going to lead into the workshop so that I can pull in a tractor and work on it in the heat if I want to, or be able to just pull in a tractor and bring in a load of firewood for the wood stove. But it is going to have access for big projects to be able to move in and out of the workshop or vehicles. So goal number 2 is to finally fix the firewood shed. I know a lot of people have been asking when we're going to ever do this. So this was back after we bought this place, a few months after. A tree limb, a huge tree limb fell, and it crushed this side of the firewood shed, and that roof's kind of been hanging down ever since. So that was back in, I think, early 2016 when that happened. So finally going to try to build this section back. So we're going to put some new posts in here, put new roof rafters in, and try to get a roof back over this area right here. There is concrete pad there, so it'd be nice to have use of that area. And then we're going to just go ahead and make some improvements to the whole thing. We're going to replace a few posts, try to fix some structural problems. And what I want to do is make this look like a regular firewood shed where you have like the slatted sides on the back and on the sides. So air still passes through, but then we'll be able to stack our wood right up against the sides. We can probably stack it up a lot taller. And we're basically going to separate this into four different bays once we add the last one on, and we can use it to store firewood, use it to store the log splitter, maybe some other pieces of equipment in here. But that's goal number 2, is to finally fix up the firewood shed. So this year we're planning on getting some more steers to raise. We're actually going to get 3 this year, and we didn't have enough pasture last year, so we're going to add this area as pasture. We're going to try to fence this in. It's right across from the firewood shed. We're going to try to fence in this area and add an additional small pasture to be able to rotate the steers into. So this area is where we ran the chicken tractors last year. We ran them back and forth through this grass. And then once we get this all fenced in, I'd like to also see if we can make like a small corral in this area, somewhere we can corral the steers into, maybe get us a squeeze chute to be able to work the steers as well. And it'd be pretty cool if I could also work in some kind of a loading chute so I could back a trailer right down this gravel and be able to load the steers as well. So main goal, get this fenced in, and then secondary, hopefully we can get a small corral put in here as well. So goal number 4 has to do with our pond. I seem to always set a goal for the pond and I never get it done. So hopefully this year is going to be different. I want to try to get in a fishing dock. If I can get a fishing dock put in off of this point, that'll be a huge improvement, being able to have somewhere to get out there and fish. And if we can get that done and get that dock installed, then we can start running power from our house and we can try to get power out here. And then we can install the aerator system in the pond permanently, and we can get all the aeration system put in throughout this pond, and it'll just help everything out quite a bit. This is an old pond. It's like built in 1984, and an aerator would help out a bunch. But to get it in, I need to get the fishing dock in first. So goal number 5 has to do with the Alice Chalmers D17 tractor. There's quite a few things on here that need to be fixed. So this needs new brakes. The fuel gauge is broken, needs repaired. The wheels need to be painted, and I've got wheel weights that need to be painted and added on as well. Give it a little bit of extra weight on the back. And then this whole loader is a problem in itself. There's many things wrong with the loader. One, the hydraulics is extremely slow on this version of the D17, so I've got a new hydraulic pump to go on here to speed up the hydraulics and make the loader work the speed that it should. And then the geometry of the loader is all wrong. The bucket won't exactly pivot upward. So I want to redo the loader geometry and put on a skid steer quick attach on the front of this so that I could actually maybe get a regular skid steer bucket to put on the front of this, or be able to hook up my pallet forks or any other quick attach that I might have and use that on the front of the Alice Chalmers. So got quite a few things, a big list of things to do to this tractor. So hopefully this year I can take the time and fix this up a little bit, and maybe even get a little bit of paint on here as well and make it look a little bit better. So that's our 5 main goals for this year. Of course, our project list is a lot bigger than that. And there's one other project I want to show you that I'm not going to put it on our goals list, but there's a really good chance this is something we're going to do this summer. So this here is the old well on the property. It's been disconnected for a long time. There used to be power that came into here, and this has not worked for several years, way before we bought the property. And inside of here, you can see this is the top of the well. There's actually water right there. It's got a little bit of, looks like some algae and some other stuff floating on top. So the well will have to be cleaned and bleached out. The water will have to be tested. But if everything is okay, I'd really like to get this well working again so that we can use it to water the livestock. So the well house is right down there, and if the water tests good, we'll trench in electric power to run the pump back here to the electric panel in the bank barn. And then we're gonna run water line. We'll probably run one this direction to hit the pasture here, and then probably all the way over to our garden. And then we'll run a water line up this hill to the pig, to the pig pen. And from the pig pen, we would trench water up to this area where we want to fence this in and have water in this area as well. So we'd at least have well water where most of our livestock is. So trying to get the old well house working and run water lines everywhere, that's not going to necessarily be a goal for next year, but that's something we're going to look at pretty hard. It's all going to depend on how much time we have and whether the well tests okay. But I'd really like to get that well going. I'd really like to have a second water source here on the property that we could use to water the livestock, maybe even water our garden. So that's definitely something we're going to be looking at pretty hard. So those were the 5 main goals for this year, and then the well house we'll call that like a bonus goal in case we get that one done. So what else is coming up in 2022? So we're going to be raising 3 feeder steers this year. We're also going to be raising 3 feeder pigs this year. So raising more pork and beef. Probably going to expand the pig pen a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. We're going to continue the work on the bank barn. We're going to finish the back side of the bank barn up, get that done. We're probably going to change the barnyard around a little bit, try to make it where we can divide off parts of the barnyard so that maybe we can keep the steers and the goats separate from each other. And then gardening. Hopefully this year we'll have a better garden than we did this last year. We never got very much planted last year. So hopefully we do a lot better gardening and produce a lot more food in the garden this year than we did this last year. So got a lot of stuff coming up. Of course, we still got firewood. We got hay, of course. We got a whole new hay field out there that we have. So we're going to be harvesting twice as much hay this year. So quite a bit coming up. I know every time we add something, that adds another task and more time. So it seems like the more stuff we do out here, that that takes up so much more of our time that we can't do as many of these extra projects and stuff because we just keep on adding all these other responsibilities. So it'll be a full year, I'm sure. We got a lot of stuff going on out here and a lot of stuff to keep us busy. So if you guys seen the list, the project list, you know that I've got quite a few things on that list that I want to do, and we'll just have to wait and see, how much of it I can get done. But I think that's it for today's video, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.